Hey everybody, this is Tony, and I'm here today with a special guest, the legendary Manhattans, featuring Mr. Gerald Alston. How you guys doing today?
Great, very great.
Fantastic.
All right, all right. So, of course, you guys have a new song out. She's coming home. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the song. How did the song come about?
Well, the song I wrote the song with our keyboard player Curtis Dukes. I'm sorry, and
Okay.
we put it together. And the song is about a guy, from my standpoint, as a guy and his lady, and they've been together, and they go out, and she's very attractive. All the guys are always looking, and they might even try to slide her a number. But the song is about, you can hit all you want to, you can give her your number, but she's coming home with me. At the end of the night, she's coming home with me. So you don't even think about it.
I know that's right.
Basically, the song is about. Yeah.
Okay. So now you guys released a single. I know you released a single previously, but are you working on a album at all? Are you going to do more singles, or what are you planning?
Well, we have an album in the can. We have we may do one more song.
Okay.
But otherwise, the album is basically complete.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Now, of course, everybody knows the Manhattans for the legendary songs, "Kiss and Say Goodbye," "Shining Star," amongst others. So how do you approach building on that legacy already and remain current?
Well, I could give each one of us a chance to answer, but I would like to say, first of all, we write songs. We do songs, and writing songs, you would just do a production that's contemporary. That's the way I feel. What do you think, Troy, Dave?
I think you stay the course on what brought the people to you, which is, if you have to change it, you change it. But what brought the people to us was the love song, the dance,
right?
The stage act. You know what I mean? We keep them with us, but then sometimes you have to change a little bit, just a little bit. Maybe bring some other people in, but give us a chance, because some things that you show every day, all the time, to be, get like, wow, I've seen this before. So what we do is, what I think is, what we do is it's a good thing. We keep Kiss Say Goodbye, Shining Star. That's what brought us into the game. That's what them into the game. We keep it there. And then we do the love songs, which kept us in the game. And then we may do a little change in it to bring other people in. That's how, we keep it.
Of course, absolutely. So now,
All right.
Of course, Mr. Troy and David, you guys have been singing with Mr. Alston now for years in this particular lineup. But what made you both decide to ultimately join the group and continue the legacy?
You want to talk to me or you want to talk to Troy?
Well, we were asked.
It's for both, but either one can start.
I mean, who would turn down such an opportunity?
Right.
At the time, I had been working with one of the founding members, Mr. Winfred Blue Lovett. He was very instrumental in my career as a solo artist. And when the group decided to get back together, he asked me would I join for a couple of weeks, and here it is, going on 27 years. So,
all right.
And the rest is history.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was at the time was working on the railroad, and my brother David Tyson, sing for the Temptations, knew that I always wanted to sing. Trying to be like him. I always had my little groups. I was a falsetto, and he found out that Blue and Gerald was forming a group back in Manhattan. They were looking for a falsetto. And my brother gave me a call and told me to call Blue up. I called Blue, and I had an interview with him and Gerald. And the interview, he came to the point to say, yes, we can do this, but, see if I could dance. They came to Philadelphia. We had a rehearsal all night long. They beat me up. But, and it worked out well. And, I mean, not only that, but the thing was, it was my favorite group, the Manhattans. Even over the Temptations, all of them. The Manhattans was my favorite group as a kid. And now my dream came true for us to come to sing with these guys, and they blessed to say yes, to take me, and they bust on me because of my, two left feet. I dance. We had a good time, and it's been great.
Look, I'm sure, and you know what? It's nothing but God that worked it out that way because, look how long you guys have been together, and it's still working, and you still here making music. So, it obviously was something new. But I did want to ask each of you, when you're performing, what is one of your favorite songs to perform?
Well, my favorite song. It was our very first gold record. Was "There's No Me Without You."
Right.
That's one of my favorites because it's a love song, but it also has it lends itself to let our fans know that we love them, and we wouldn't be able to survive without them. Radio, the publicists, none of the people that help us in the business. So that's my way of saying thank you, letting them know that there's no me without you.
Okay.
I don't have a favorite song. Any song for me is to sing on stage with Gerald Alston. I mean, with the group in Manhattan. It's great.
Okay.
There's no, I can't pick a song.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah, all of the songs are absolutely. We're in love with the songs, but for me, "Kiss and Say Goodbye," that song is so iconic, and it's just amazing to see the crowd's reaction each time that song, we perform it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Deeply moving.
Yeah, of course. Now, Mr. Alston, you sang lead on that song. And of course, now that song is iconic, like you just said, and it's one of the greatest R&B love songs ever in music.
Oh, yeah.
So what was that like for you to have sung lead on that song originally and to still be able to sing it today and still get a reaction out of people? Like, you see a change in people when they hear this song. So what is that like for you when you sing it?
It's one of the greatest feelings you could ever have. I remember when we recorded the song, we take you back. We recorded the song. We Blue wrote it, but Blue wrote it for Mac Davis or somebody, country western artist. And so they had us record it, and we didn't particularly care for it. So we went in and did a vocal I did a vocal on backgrounds, and it ended up being they released it. And when they released it, Blue said, "Oh my God, they're trying to destroy us." But that song took off and sold over 2 million copies. But what made the song so iconic was the story. It was a story that everybody could identify with.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because it's something that even goes on today. Still, it'll always go on.
Yes.
Kissing and say goodbye. It's something that's never going to end. And so that's what makes that song so good. And that story, and each time I sing it on stage, it may be subtle differences, but I never really sing it the same way, even if it's subtle differences. So and baby, I'm sure. It depends on what you feel at night. And we feel each other on stage, and we may do something, but we know within ourselves what we're doing. Right. And the audience picks up on it, So it's a great song.
Yeah, it's definitely unmatched. I can say that. Like I said, one of the greatest R&B songs ever. So to be honest, the Manhattans is one of the groups that really helped to change and shape R&B music in the 70s. So that's a part of history.
Yeah. Yeah. Because in the 70s was all disco.
Right.
And we stayed the course.
Yeah.
We stayed the course and got the biggest single in CBS history until we were the first artist to sell 2 million certified singles of Kiss and Say Goodbye in a single record. And then Johnny Taylor dropped Disco Lady, and he caught us.
Now you see, that's what staying power is right there. you couldn't have. I don't think anybody else could have done this song and it been that big. So it says a lot right there.
That's right.
Now, David and Troy, were you guys ever intimidated or at any point by the group's legacy? Because I'm sure you guys at some point knew of the group, and one of you said it was your favorite group before you came in.
I have. Yes, I've been.
Okay.
Intimidation. Yes. First show I did with Manhattan was Dallas, Texas, and I was in the background. On the background singing with a female that was there, and it was a step we were supposed to do with her. But I was so elated to be on stage with these guys. And Troy was in the front, that she did the step, and I was still doing something. And I turned over and looked at her, and she gave an eye to me like,
hello?
What are you doing? And I was like, I just let it go. Because I was just elated, So, yeah.
Hello?
And then, come on. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
So you think about a guy that's, that's been young, coming up in the era with groups like the OJs and the Temptations and the Spinners, and I'm on stage with these people now.
Right.
So then you got my brother Ron Tyson over 10, so he's looking at me like with a fine tooth comb, and Blue and Gerald, I'm looking, making sure they made the right choice in getting me. So I had to make sure, all right, when you go on stage, then stuff got to be right. So
right.
As far as being intimidated with either with the other groups that come on stage, with Blue and Gerald watching me, and then my brother, looking. Yes, very intimidating. And I learned in the house that, hey, man, just entertainment world, bro. It's like, what do you say? This is want to be entertainer. So he said,
right.
If I complain about anything, so now you want to be entertainer. This is what happened. That's what I learned. I learned it, and I grew, and I love it now. Can't wait to go back.
Well, for me, the most intimidating I've ever been. I mean, it was several times, but the most is the time we performed in South Africa for the first time. It was like Michael. If you've ever seen clips of Michael Jackson, and he's out of the country, and a gazillion people are going bananas over him. That's the kind of reaction we got in South Africa, and that was very intimidating. But it was amazing.
Yes.
I could just imagine.
They were carrying people out of there on the stretchers, and they had ambulances alongside the stage taking people out of there.
Miles of people. I couldn't believe it. Miles of people.
Yeah. And we went there. We were only supposed to work 4 nights. We worked 15 nights and sold out each night as they advertised. They were advertising in the afternoon. They were sold out by the time we got there.
That's right. That's right after apartheid was over.
Yep. Yeah. Wow, that's some cool stories. I like to hear these kind of stories. But you guys
we got plenty.
Believe me, I can feel it.
I can tell you a lot of stories.
How much tape you got?
Yeah.
I remember on the TV show in South Africa, we were on TV, and I fell on stage, my chair broke.
Oh, God, that was hilarious.
We doing an interview, chair broke right there. Boom, right on stage.
He was excited.
Yeah.
Everybody laughed. But I laughed because I was, it was fun.
Right. Now, you guys are music guys, of course. So, I'm just talking music. Back in the 70s, you had, just like one you just said, some of the great groups, including the Manhattans, but you had like Stylistics, Blue Magic, the Spinners, all these different kind of groups. And, now we kind of like, the groups have kind of dissipated, really. Right. Except for the ones that like traveling and stuff like that. How do you guys feel about the state of male R&B groups really today?
It's to me, it's like sad because there are no male groups. Everybody's individual or doing a duet with somebody. But stand-up groups other than Boys to Men, New Edition, I think, has dissipated. But Boys to Men still singing. And you got still groups like the Whispers and Manhattans and Stylistics. And you got Dramatic. Yeah. And groups are slowly, guys at point, some of the guys at points they're retiring. And it's going to be even less. You know, so as it stands today, unless groups like the Manhattans keep the legacy alive, we will get lost. So we're that's why our new album is called The Manhattan featuring Gerald Alston. The legacy continues.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. It only makes sense, though, you know, at a time like this. As far as the music on the album, or that you guys have created already, what kind of sound is it going to be? So is it going to be something similar to She's Coming Home, or is it, you know, a mix of things, or what can you expect?
It's a mix of things. We have ballads. We got 2 live cuts that we recorded in South Africa.
Okay.
A live version of Shining Star and Kiss and Say Goodbye. And then we did another version of Forever by Your Side, which we got ballads. We went back to our ballads, but we just mixed it up a little more. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I want to know from each of you if there was ever a group that could compete with the Manhattans as far as ballads, as far as sound overall, who would you think it would be? Whether it's old or new.
One is older?
Yeah.
Well, y'all can go first. I'll wait.
Go ahead, Dave.
I say the Dells.
Okay.
I agree with Dave.
Older. I mean, you talking about old? You talking about older with us? Yeah, older than us. Older than the group of Manhattan. Yes, the Dells.
Yeah. I would say the Dells. And next to the Dells, I may say the Drifters. You know, but the Dells are my number one.
Okay. Right. It makes sense. All right. So, of course, you know, you guys are keeping the legacy of the group alive. The Manhattans have been bestowed with some of the greatest honors, from Grammys to gold records to million sellers to I can't even name them all. So now today, you know, when you think about it, all three of you really, you know, what are you looking for now? What are you trying to accomplish at this point, as far as the group is concerned, or is there anything that you're trying to accomplish?
You know, we first of all want to keep the legacy alive. That's most
right.
Of course,
that's what I'm about to say.
You know, we can get millions sold out. We all want to get another gold record. We all want to get another Grammy, and if that happens, it'll be great. But I think now is mostly keeping our legacy alive and competing out here. With the new music today, it's difficult for us to compete on the mainstream radio because it's mainstream radio are not playing any music from the 70s unless unless we get a production from like or do something with Snoop Dogg or one of the major artists today. You know, we just out here going along, and hopefully that could happen.
Okay.
Well, I think Gerald is right in terms of us maintaining the legacy, but I see that for several reasons. For one, to honor the original Manhattans that came before us, the guys who actually started this group. And number two, to honor R&B music as a whole. I mean, the music today is standing on the shoulders of groups like the Manhattans, the Whispers, the OJs, and we're doing as best as we can, just like Gerald said, to maintain not just the Manhattan's legacy, but the legacy of this kind of music.
Right.
And you know, this is real songwriting music. It's not about jumping into bed. It's about jumping into somebody's heart.
Right.
Jumping into somebody's mind. And I think that's real love music there, real soul love music there.
And you know, to piggyback on what Troy said, it's that we sing songs that's people that our fans can relate to. They understand what we're saying. They can say, wow, I just went through that. Or I know my buddy just went through that. Or I'm going through that right now. Or that happened to somebody I know. You know, they can relate to what we're singing. Today it's just straight to the point. Jump in the bed, do your thing or whatever. You know?
Yeah.
Or, from this person, that person, this person, that person. It's no real story that people can identify with. It's like hit and miss.
Yeah. I call it one-night stand music.
There you go.
It's all one-night stand. It's all about getting that instant gratification and getting on. But the music of the Manhattans and these older groups, it's longevity marriage, marriage kind of music. That's why these groups have been around for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, if you think about it, who do you know?
I just want to say one thing.
mean, if you... Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was
I
just
want to say one thing about the groups, about what you were saying with the groups.
Uh-huh.
A lot of the groups that came up, a lot of the people that came up with the groups, are passing on now. They're older now.
Right.
And the greatest thing would be is for the group like us to come up with something that will grab on to the young crowd.
Mm-hmm.
That would keep us going.
Right.
That'd be a good thing. If we can do that, that's the main thing.
And the bottom line is, yeah. And what David is saying is basically, and Troy mentioned it earlier, is to keep the legacy alive.
Right.
With R&B groups. Because the songs we sing today, the songs that the Del sing, the Delphonics, the Stylistics, the OJs, here we are 50 years later, and they still sound good today.
That's right.
And people still play them. But 10 years from today, the music you hear today, you're going to wonder what happened to it. There's no legacy that the young people today have to look forward to.
Right. Nothing to grab onto.
Yeah.
There's no legacy.
Yeah, I think you guys definitely hit it on the head, especially saying it's legacy music. If you look at the Manhattan's catalog, I don't think there's nothing in there that's not a hit, even if it really wasn't on Billboard or anything like that. But you look at a song like Shining Star, you don't see nobody today telling a woman, "You are my shining star." You understand what I'm saying? So
can I tell you something real quick?
Let
me say something real quick before we end this. The other day I was listening to the Manhattan songs. Me and my wife was on the patio, and the song came up, "If I Leave Tomorrow," the Manhattans did. And it kills me every time I sing. I hear it.
Yeah.
It kills me. If I ever leave tomorrow. You know what I mean? That's something that can go on forever.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if it's played, with young people, if right now today, if they listen to it and understand, that's how it go. And that's how you keep the legacy alive.
Right.
After I say, we don't even sing that much, I don't remember singing it on the shows, but man, that's a beautiful song. There's a lot of songs, there are a lot of groups, older groups that a lot of young people never heard.
Yeah. And to piggyback on what Dave said, is that a lot of our songs, we just Kiss and Say Goodbye and Shining Star, and those songs were, and There's a Million About You, those weren't the only songs that people played. They played our whole album. We sold albums. And so, and to believe it, a lot of people might not understand this, but believe it or not, in the 70s, we had more chart records than anybody in our genre. They might have had more hits than we had, but we had more chart records than any of them. All of them in the 70s was hidden records. If you check Billboard magazine, as in Billboard, the Manhattans had more chart records than anybody in the 70s of that genre, of our genre, stand-up groups.
Right.
It just shows the authenticness of those songs. Even It Feels So Good to Be Loved So Bad, and you're thinking like, really? But when you listen to the song, you're like, okay, yeah, I'm with it. Okay, all right. You go along with it because it's like, wow. When you really listen to the song, it's like, oh, somebody's loving me this much.
Yes,
so
indeed.
it just shows that all those songs back then, they had staying power, they had longevity. You know, they had a meaning. Just put it plain, they just had a meaning. And I definitely think you guys are carrying on the legacy with what you're doing now. Even with the new song, it's not something where it's like, you know, you had to jump into being a rapper yourself and you know you're a singer. So, you know, you stayed in the lane.
Yeah. And, you know, even with the new song, She's Coming Home, it's a story to it. It's just not a group of lyrics thrown together. It's a story. Get Ready was the first thing. Right? It's a story. You know, it's just not an up-tempo song trying to be current today, just put something together that's up-tempo. No, the song has a story. Both of them have a story. So that's the way, that's part of the reason of keeping this legacy alive. We're letting the people know that, yes, we can, ballads is our thing, but we can do some up-tempo stuff too, but it don't tell you a story.
That's right. And there we never left. We're still here.
Absolutely. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you all so very much for your time today and for talking about music and having a conversation about real love and real music. And I hope people go out and buy the new single, She's Coming Home. It's available on all digital platforms, correct?
That's correct. And they can follow us on our website, Let's Just Kiss and Say Goodbye.com, Facebook, Manhattan featuring Gerald Alston, Instagram, The Manhattan featuring Gerald Alston, and Twitter, same thing, Manhattan featuring Gerald Alston.
All right, sounds good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is none other than the legendary Manhattan featuring Mr. Gerald Alston. Gentlemen, thank you so much, and you enjoy the rest of your day, okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Be safe.
All right.
No problem. Have a good one.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.